Hey Woodcrest, right now I'm going to take you through our professional learner maps. We'll be going through this together, but I know some of us are learners who like to see things ahead of time and hear about it ahead of time. So, professional learner maps. We will start tomorrow with a piña, and the piña question is, imagine right now that I ordered pizza for everybody, right now at 8 in the morning, pepperoni pizza for everybody. How would you feel about that and why? Take a minute just to reflect on that. Now, I can't speak about you, but if I had pepperoni pizza right now, I'd feel frustrated because it's 8 in the morning and I'm not hungry for pizza. I just had breakfast. I don't necessarily, pepperoni pizza isn't my favorite, and I'm gluten free, so my guess is that it's not gluten free pizza and I can't eat it, so I'm a little frustrated. That's where I'm at. I'm curious about where you're at. But more importantly, let's get into the professional learner maps right now. What are the inspirations for this? So, where did this idea for a professional learner map come from? Well, I want you all to know that this has been like resonated in me for years now as the coach at Woodcrest. I was feeling very stuck, especially during MEA week. After I was reading through people's feedback, I heard so much positive feedback on all the intentionality that went into it. And when I looked at how engagement went, I saw that not every bit of MEA week was engaging for our learners. And that made sense to me because how do you meet all the unique needs of all of you in a simple professional learning? I was thinking of the hot Indian foods menu. I was hungry and I was thinking, ooh, later I get to order takeout with me and my husband and I get to order what I want. So I was thinking, oh, how cool would it be to have a menu for all of you to choose what you need and want with your professional learning. And then I had a big personal realization that I love what I do. I love working with all of you. And although I know I'm good at what I do, and I know I can host a good party, if you will, that doesn't mean that you all want to be at the party or need to be at the party. And that's okay. So who are professional learner maps for? All educators, all professional learners. And hint, we are all educators, so that I'm talking to you. All of us will be starting this personalized process. What are professional learner maps? That's a personalized guide of professional learning based on your, big word there, your strengths, interests, and needs. A personalized guide directly related to your individual goals. A personalized guide based on your learning and evidence, and a curated guide based on a menu of professional learning options. Now, look on the bottom, side note, PLCs will still continue, don't worry. And some of professional learning, like Arriba training, etc., will already be programmed in a more classic way. So don't worry about those classic things that you know we might need as a community. When do you use professional learner maps? All year long, every week, individually with your teams and with your coaches. And realize that your professional learner map is a living, active document, just like what we're starting to do with our learner maps with our students. Where do you find them? In Google Sheets, in our Google Drive, in Woodcrest 2020-21 plans, Woodcrest professional learner maps. If you click on the link, you'll go right there. Hint, just like our learner maps are in Google, our professional learner maps are in Google as well. Why are we doing this? I want us to think about that current reality. So everyone, EFL and hybrid, has different professional learning needs, and it's impossible to meet them all, especially if I'm going to be a human being and not a human doing, especially if you are going to be a human being and not a human doing. So the desired results, teachers creating their own professional learner map based on their goals, needs, and interests, ideally leading to high levels of engagement, efficacy, agency, and positive personal and professional impact. It's a huge desired result. And unacceptable means compliance and everyone doing the same thing. How will we do this? Well, these are our SLP norms. We're going to be curious, we're going to be descriptive, we're going to be appreciative, and we're going to be aware. So we're just going to start with the next 5 weeks and go from there. I know that this won't be perfect. I know it'll be a little messy. I know some of the logistics will be hard, but it is worth it to personalize learning for all of you. So blah, blah, blah. Can you just break it down for me, Joe? Sure. So we have 5 weeks left in Try 1. You are going to schedule 3 PLCs. So over the next 5 weeks, you're just going to schedule 3 PLCs with your team. You'll put that on your professional learner map. You'll also schedule 5 professional learning. So you'll map out 5 more professional learning opportunities for yourself and try one. One of those 5 should be reserved for a mental health day. So it's really 4 official professional learnings and 1 mental health day for you, where you sleep in, spend time with your kids, do some yoga, whatever you might need. Then you're going to map it out on your professional learner map. And don't worry, we're going to look at it in a second. And on that map, you're going to think of who, what, when, where, why, and how. And as always, evidence is the key. So you are not only going to do the professional learning, but you're going to show how you're putting that learning into practice. So for example, if you did a professional learning with Geraldine, you're going to say, now I'm embedding my schedules into Schoology, and all my folders are clean, organized, and currently being used by my students. Potential menu items. So here are some things you might consider putting onto your professional learner map. So you might want to be learning about the student learner maps, our SLP technology toolkit. You might want to take some time to think of some best practices around and learn about best practices for EFL and hybrid. You might want to learn more about backwards design with our trimester overviews. You might take some time to learn more about effective grading and reporting, more things with the equitable lens that we've been doing with John specifically. You might want to learn more about learner profiles, and all of us have tons of individual ideas like more responsive classroom training, etc. And I want to be clear that our leadership team, so be thinking of Darren, John, me, etc., will be available every Tuesday and Wednesday morning from 8 to 8:45. That doesn't mean that on your plans it has to be on a Tuesday or it has to be on a Wednesday, depending on your needs. But I want you all to know that we have reserved that time no matter what to be there to support you, whether that's facilitating some learning or being present with you in the learning. So take a moment right now to reflect on why are we shifting to professional learner maps. If you're just watching this video right now, pause it and think to yourself, why are we doing this? Here's my personal why. I really want to continue to and strive to lead and work from a place of love and not fear. And if I'm being honest with you all, I still have a lot of fears, even with this, but I want to choose love. Love around professional learning says, I trust you. You know what you need. You know what you need to get done. Fear for me is, but what if we don't do it? But what if we don't get things done? But what if we don't cover all that we need to do? Another why is we want to plan for the people you love. So I want you to plan for yourself because you are worthy of all the love. And my word for the year is stretch. So I want to do more with what I already have and what we already have. And hint, we already have so much. Woodcrest is ready for this. We've been building this over the past few years. But could I just see an example, please? Please just show me, Joe, what does this even mean? Of course. But first, let's be clear on what's tight and loose. Tight with professional learner maps. Again, you'll schedule out 3 PLCs and 5 professional learnings. One of the professional learnings is a mental health day for you. You'll be actively filling out your professional learner map. So it's not just working on it today. You'll have time to do it right now, but actively filling it out and updating it, especially with that evidence or opportunity for more learning. Professional learning maps is a time to learn, practice, do, reflect, and repeat. So it's not just work time. It's time for you to learn and put what you're learning into practice, reflect on it, and repeat. You want to personalize your map according to your personal and collective needs. So you might have some personal learning needs. And also as a PLC team, for example, you might have some collective needs that you want to work on together. What is tight is that professional learning is never just work time or planning time. But yes, working and planning are usually part of learning. So of course, if part of your professional learning includes work time or planning time, that makes sense. But it should not be just scheduling out time with your team or with a few people on your team to get work done. That is not professional learning. And also what's tight is that we want to have regular descriptive feedback in order to have the best map for you. So making sure that you know that John, Darren, me, your team will be giving you descriptive feedback on how your map is going, and you will as well. What's loose is also one of our SLP's norms, which is flexibility. So what's loose is the time. So you might choose to do your professional learning on a Friday morning, because that makes more sense for you. Flexibility with space. Maybe you want to do some asynchronous learning. Maybe you want to do it in your space. Maybe you want to do it in another WebEx space. That is up to you. There's flexibility with resources, so digital resources, physical resources, human resources, and flexibility with how that learning happens. Maybe you prefer small groups. Maybe you like to do some individual work. Maybe you want to do some asynchronous work or synchronous work. That's where the flexibility comes in. So here are some examples of a professional learner map, and tomorrow we'll dig into the document itself, but here's one sample. So you'll see here, there's backwards design, technology toolkit, EFL best practices, grading, reporting, and of course that mental health day. You see that there's the learning goal, so the things you'll be able to do because of the professional learning. Here's the connection to the goals, so you'll make sure to connect it to your personal goals. What and the how. So what is going to happen and how will this happen? And then the who and the with whom. So who is doing the learning and with whom? So I might be doing the learning with Geraldine. I might be doing the learning with Joel. I might be doing the learning with Darren. I might be doing that learning asynchronously with a YouTube video. That's where you'll put the who and the with whom. And then of course the where and the when. So I am going to say what time I'm doing the learning, where am I meeting, etc. The dates don't always have to be, again, on a Wednesday. You can personalize that, but you want to really map this out and backwards design according to what you need as a learner. And here, of course, is the evidence of implementation. Here's another sample. So this person wants to work on learner maps, more Arriba training, grading and reporting, and the equitable lens. You see that this one's doing it with Joel, with Darren, with John, and that makes sense. And here's another one where this teacher wants to do some responsive classroom training with Darren, but also wants to do some responsive classroom observations. That's their learning. They're going to do some observations and journaling and observe teachers like Senor Mateo, Edinson, and Lauren. This is just a sample again. And they also want to do a deeper dive into Arriba. We're going to do a quick SWOT analysis. So I want you to be able to reflect on the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. You can read through this on your own. I've talked about a lot of the strengths, so personalizing it, connecting it to the student learner maps, making it dependent on you and dependent on evidence, not dependent on me or how well I facilitate professional learning. Weaknesses that I see are that it's just going to be a lot of logistics and we're going to make a lot of mistakes, a lot of beautiful mistakes, and that's okay. I see so many opportunities for sharing the leadership, for your agency, for lots of flexibility, for so many varieties of learner maps, professional learner maps, and for vertical learning opportunities and also cross-district learning opportunities. I already know a lot of you have been hankering to work with some people from other schools across the district and beyond the district, and that's awesome. Some threats I see is losing that weekly connection. So even if we're all eating pepperoni pizza every week, at least we're together. So we're going to lose some of that time together. It does take more mental energy to create these learner maps. And even though I know that this is a good change, it is still change. And I want to be aware of that. If you're watching this video and doing the learning along with me, this is when you would pause and reflect on the strengths, weaknesses, and opportunity and threats you see with the professional learner maps. And finally, here's just the flow. So you're going to decide your next 3 PLCs with your team, decide your next 5 professional learning opportunities, let John, me, or Darren know when your professional learner map is ready for review. All of them are due on Friday, this Friday, at least the initial learner map. You'll be actively updating it and make sure you are set to go with your time, resources, and space for your next professional learning that you're organizing next Wednesday. Of course, we will be responsive and support you with this as you need, but this learning is now dependent on you. Thank you.